Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is August 15th, 2024 and Barcelona are currently negotiating with Thiago Alcantara so he can stay longer as part of Hansi Flick's staff. Also, bad news in regards to Dani Rodriguez, who Barcelona just renewed. And finally, more bad news, but this time in regards to Frenkie de Jong's injury. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and before I begin with the news, just a quick reminder to make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Also, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you head to Kickback, Goal Kits, or Fanatics. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you head to Bet Us, where not only can you place bets on Barcelona matches, but you can place bets on all sporting events from around the world. All links are down below in the description. Now, beginning with the news that Barcelona are currently negotiating with La Liga in order to move one of the matches to the USA, and that match will be no other than the one between Barcelona and Atletico de Madrid, which is set to be played in December, and Barcelona are trying to move that match to the USA. This is something that Barcelona have been trying to do, not specifically with Atletico Madrid, but just in general. Barcelona have been trying to move some of La Liga matches to the USA during the season since I think it was 2018, if I'm not mistaken. So Barcelona have been trying to do this for several years. So far, they haven't been successful, but it's reported that FIFA have approved this move. So Barcelona are now in talks with La Liga to have the match between Barcelona and the Madrid-based club played in the USA in December, which means that Barcelona will not play their first home match until January at the Spotify Camp Nou, which will be against Valencia. Now, there are many club members who are currently upset at this because, of course, club members, a lot of them purchase season tickets where they get to go watch several matches in the home stadium. And if Barcelona moves one of the biggest matches, one of the biggest home matches to the USA, that means that these club members who have season tickets will not be able to see one of the most attractive matches that I'm sure all of them want to see in Barcelona. I don't mind it, but I'm being biased because I do live here in the US, so I wouldn't mind seeing an official La Liga match here in the USA. But of course, I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts. What do you think about Barcelona playing some La Liga matches in the US? Are you in favor? Are you not? Let me know down below in the comment section. Now, of course, playing this match in the USA would mean a financial boost to Barcelona, which the club definitely needs given its financial situation. But of course, I do understand the complaints being made by the club members and by people who live in Barcelona who want to go and watch the match, one of the most anticipated matches in their city. Now, more news because it's reported that Barcelona are currently negotiating with Thiago Alcantara so he can stay longer at the club. Now, as you know by now, Thiago Alcantara joined Hansi Flick's staff after announcing his retirement from football. This was a Hansi Flick request. Flick wanted Thiago Alcantara on his staff. Alcantara was at first, not too much in favor of this move. He had just announced his retirement. He wanted to take some time off, but Flick did convince Alcantara to join his staff. However, Thiago only agreed to stay until the beginning of La Liga. So by the end of August, he wanted to come and help. He wanted to help Flick with the transition. He wanted to help Flick, with the language barrier. He wanted to help Flick, translate the methods that he's trying to teach to the players from German to Spanish. So he only wanted to do this temporary, but it's reported now that Barcelona are working hard to convince Thiago Alcantara to stay even longer, and they're even preparing a contract for him so he can sign on a permanent basis as part of Flick's staff, because again, Flick really wants the player, or the former Barcelona player, I should say, as part of his coaching staff. And I think that's great news. I really love when I see, former Barcelona players or people who meant a lot to the club, legends, participating in the club even after their footballing careers are over. So hopefully he stays. But again, curious to hear you guys' thoughts. What do you think about Thiago staying? Do you care? Do you not? Let me know down below. Now, from good news, we move on to bad news because it's been announced that Dany Rodriguez has suffered an injury. Now, Barcelona just announced the contract extension of Dani Rodriguez, or the contract renewal, I should say. His contract did expire at the end of June. It was on June 30th. Looked like he was headed to Athletic Club de Bilbao. He is Basque. Basque clubs wanted him, wanted to sign him, both Real Sociedad and Athletic Club de Bilbao. It looked like he was headed back, but then he made a 180 and decided to extend his contract with the club until 2027. Of course, Barcelona announcing that news through their official channels, which I did bring you that news here in the, during the video. But now it's been reported that the 18-year-old left winger has suffered an injury to his right leg, which will see him out of the playing field for 3 months. So definitely big blow to Barcelona and a big blow to the player, because he was expected to be an important piece of Barca Athletic for this upcoming season. Last season he alternated between Barca Athletic and Juvenil A, but he was expected to be, kind of a corner piece of Barca Athletic, and he was even expected to be called up to the first team because Hansi Flick is very interested in the player. He's been monitoring his growth. He's been monitoring his development. So Flick wanted to try out, Dany Rodriguez, maybe have him train with the first team, maybe even get some minutes with the first team. But now with this 3-month injury is definitely bad news, but hopefully, speedy recovery to the player. Hopefully he can recover fully. And who knows, maybe we still can see him with the first team, especially since, of course, we do have a desperate need for someone to fill that left wing position. And that's exactly where Dany Rodriguez plays. Now, speaking of injuries, more bad news, because now we have to talk about Frenkie de Jong, who seems that his injury is more serious than we initially thought. Now, Frenkie de Jong did get injured towards the end of the season. He injured his right ankle in that match against Real Madrid. That was the 3rd time during that season that he injured that ankle. Really, really bad luck, because, this is not fatigue injury. This is not a muscular injury. All these injuries were as a cause of fouls, and it's really bad luck to be fouled on the same ankle 3 times in one season, causing you injuries. And it's been 4 months, and Frenkie de Jong has yet to be declared fit, which is starting to raise some alarms, because when Frenkie de Jong was first injured, or when it was first announced that he was injured, it was expected that he could be out for 2 months. But now 4 months later, double the initial phase that we thought he was going to be out for, and he is still injured, which is starting to raise alarms, especially again because he has injured that ankle 3 times. If he's still not healthy, the club are not worried that maybe there is something deeper than what they initially thought. So definitely bad news on that front. Now, more bad news, because Barcelona are now fearful that Frenkie de Jong could be waiting for his contract to expire in 2026 and then leave the club without a single cent, without of transfer fee. Of course, as you know by now, Barcelona have tried several times to extend the contract of the player. They kind of want him to, play the rest of his career at Barcelona. Plus, the renewal would also involve, a restructuring of his salary, because his salary is incredibly high. It's the highest salary on the squad, which Barcelona cannot afford. They need to restructure that salary so Barcelona can afford it, and so they can alleviate their wage bill, which directly affects the financial fair play. But despite Barcelona's multiple attempts to reach out to Frenkie, he has simply ignored the calls of the club. So Barcelona are now fearful that he could simply be just biding his time, waiting until 2026 for his contract to expire, and then leave as a free agent, leaving Barcelona without a single cent in their coffers in the form of a transfer fee, which is, of course, not cool, because Barcelona has spent close to 90 million euros on the transfer of Frenkie. He has not lived up to the expectations that Barcelona had of him. And that's not even to mention all the money they've spent on his salary year after year, because he's had always incredibly high salaries thanks to Bartomeu. And now, to find out that he might be planning to leave without any transfer fee, leave as a free agent, is definitely not a good look. Which explains why during the Jan Gamper Trophy match, when they presented him, as they always do, Barcelona always presents all the players, there was a lot of booing and whistling in the stands. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. I will be uploading 2 more videos. Yes, 3 videos total. Lots of news today, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Peace, Barça.